Hi, welcome back to Talking About Success. I'm your host, Jack Canfield. My next guest is quite interesting. She is an architect and the owner of Simplify Living, Architecture and Design. And she is, we talked quite a bit before we came on air, and she's really fascinating, and she's really all about helping you create the space that's going to nurture you and make your house a home rather than just a house. So Heidi, I'm really glad you're here because I think a lot of success has to do with being comfortable in your own home, being able to enjoy your success. And let's start with your background. How did you get into this? What got you into this work?
Really my background growing up, it was just, there was some challenges, so it's just important for me to create homes for families to nurture their children and homes that they can relax from the busy outside world and a retreat to come home to after a busy day or getting back from, baseball and ballet classes and all of those things that make life so busy.
So you have this vision, this purpose to nurture other people and help them have happier lives. Tell us about that.
Just working with families, and it's really, we work with all different kind of family units. We work with couples, we work with family with children, some children that are very young, and then others that are getting ready to head off to college, and then empty nesters as well, which, they're designing their homes, looking forward to their children coming back and grandchildren coming back to visit. So it's really fun to work with families throughout that whole life span just to help create spaces for them.
Now, you told me before we came on air that one of the things that makes you really good at what you do is you're a good listener, that you really listen to what people want and need. Talk about that. Why do you think you're such a good listener?
With listening, it comes down to just understanding what they're looking for. So if I'm not listening to them and what their goals are for their project, they're not going to be happy with the result in the end. I really focus on reading between the lines just to have intuition for what they're speaking about. Just so sometimes we create things and they're like, I didn't even realize that I told you that I wanted that. But I'm good at drawing things out of people just so that they can tell me more about what they're looking for.
Can you share an example of maybe some couple or family you've worked with and maybe how you designed something new for them that they made their life so much better?
We love doing whole house renovation projects. And so a lot of times we're looking to reuse the existing home, and our goal is to not add any square footage if we don't need it to. So we worked with a client once that was looking to add a mudroom to their home, and there wasn't much space on their property to do so. So working with the existing floor plan, we were opening some things up because it was an older, early 19th century home, so very compartmentalized home. So just opening up the floor plan so it's more of a 20th century home for them and their families. And then with that, taking this very large living room that was in the home that they were not planning to use. They were planning to reuse it as a dining room, and using a section of that to create the mudroom that they were looking for, just for function for them and their young children.
For all our viewers who are living in cities, what's a mudroom?
A mudroom is a place you come in from the garage, or like a lot of people have detached garages, or even we worked with a woman who was in a downtown area that had a dog, so she wanted to have a place to bring the dog in instead of it coming through the beautiful foyer in her home. So just a space to set things down when you come into the house. So set down backpacks or purses, keys,
muddy
shoes.
Boots. This is where the name comes from, I think.
Coats, yeah. Just so all of that kind of gets dropped as soon as they walk in the house, so everything doesn't get tracked in to the home.
Yeah, no, I grew up in West Virginia. We had a mudroom, and we better take our shoes off and all the muddy stuff before we came into the house. So I get that. That's really good. So as you're working with clients and you're looking, our viewers are turning in and saying, well, here you are. You're this architectural, I think, genius based on the work you do.
Thank you.
What advice would you give to someone? I mean, people are out there thinking, well, maybe I'm going to remodel my home. Maybe I want to remodel part of it. Maybe I want to redesign the whole thing. What are some of the things that you think they should be thinking about, or what advice would you give them so they don't end up with something they don't want?
One thing is when you're looking for an architect, interview a few architects just to find somebody that's a good fit for you and your family. Somebody that you can tell is really listening to you and to your goals for your project. And then just kind of some of the things I like to put in a home is a mudroom like we just talked about, but then also adding on further to that, a home management center, which is kind of between the mudroom, or like it's right there in the mudroom. So a space that all the mail can stop. So just so you can keep some of that clutter out of your home. So, and then also charging stations. So we have one in our house, and there's a USB plug for each of the kids.
So they're not all over the place in the bathroom.
Well, and
bedroom,
especially
in the
it's not
kitchen,
and it's not in their, they have to charge there. They don't get charged in their bedrooms. So yeah, get a little break from the technology.
There you go. So, I'm just curious, when you think about your own home, I know you're building a new home right now. What were some of the things you said, well, this is what I want?
The home management center was a big one, just because I struggle with clutter. Just, when it's in your house, it just creates chaos. So just keeping that to a minimum from entering the house. And then off the kitchen, we put in a pantry that's a little bit larger, and it has a countertop in it. So it keeps all of our smaller appliances in there. So the toaster's in there.
Oh, really?
The blender, the coffee pot.
Well, that's interesting. Keeps the
so
kitchen
it just kind
clear.
of keeps the kitchen clean. And then it also just keeps all of the... the bread's already in the pantry, so
Why not
the toaster's
toast it
right there. So,
I like that.
Yeah, it's like when I was growing up, my grandmother kept it in a drawer, and so you open the drawer, and the bread drawer was the next one over. So, yeah.
That's very cool. I like
so
that.
it just kind of keeps everything clean in the kitchen. So it's, it also creates kind of it's like your messy kitchen. So I have some clients that actually, they do it, and they'll put a sink in there, and I have another client that's putting a sink and another refrigerator in there, so it's almost a second kitchen. Kind of reverting way back to when people did second kitchens.
Very cool. So I'm just curious, how long have you been working in this world of architecture and design and redesign?
So since 2001. So it's been fantastic. So I've had the chance to meet so many amazing families and help them create homes that fit their lifestyle, and just help them create spaces that they can retreat to from the busy outside world. Life gets so chaotic that it's nice to have a place to come home to and rest and renew.
And if I was talking to one of your clients, what would they say about you? They'd say, well, the reason I love working with her is she's what?
Probably that I'm a really good listener. I have a lot of clients that come back and say, she's just very creative. She's really good at listening to what your goals are, and also that she comes up with some, great ideas. When I'm working with clients, one of the things that I do with them is, they're very specific. Some of them know exactly what they want. But regardless of how specific they are, I always throw out an additional option. So I normally give them an A and a B, and then I throw out a whole different option of what I heard them say, not what they actually said. And it's amazing that more times than not, that's the option they end up moving forward with.
That must be fulfilling.
It is.
Yeah, good for you.
They're like, oh, how'd you come up with that? We didn't realize we spoke about that.
I've only been doing this for 18 years. I think I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
so
good.
much fun.
So if people want to contact you and take advantage of your services, where do they go?
My website, which is simplifiedarchitecture.com.
Simplifiedarchitecture.com.
Yes.
Very simple. All right. So if you were in a place where you're about to remodel or thinking about remodeling or redesigning your home, maybe you're building a home, whatever it is, here's a person that can actually help you do that. And not just create a cool house, but create a home where you're going to love to come home to. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jack.
And stick around. We have one more guest. We'll be right back after these messages.